Welcome to the Rally Points podcast for the love and fun of tennis.
Our good friend Dr. Gavin Barton is taking us on a ride through the mental game of tennis. He's providing insights and useful tools to help us navigate the psychology part of our beautiful sport.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized.
We say 3, 2, 1.
No, we just go.
And we just go.
Can you believe we got Gavin in here?
We landed the
It's-
whale.
Yeah, the white whale.
Just so you know, and maybe I'll save this for the
Yeah.
for when we get going.
We're
Okay.
going.
Oh, we're going?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Am I allowed to swear?
yeah, do whatever you want. Dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just so you know, I've never ever listened to a podcast in my life.
Yeah, good.
And now I'm actually freaking on one.
Yeah.
which is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Have you really never listened to a podcast?
never listened to a podcast,
Yeah.
There's a million podcasts.
and I never listened to any one of them.
Yeah.
The joke is he thinks frickin' is a swear.
Yeah. No, I was gonna go more than that. But yeah.
Oh, you can go out, man. It's all good. It's all good. Let it out. That's awesome.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
well,
so
I'm
this
glad
is
that
cool.
made me.
Welcome.
This is
supportive.
the
It is
one right here
amazing, 'cause
to be first.
That's it.
Yeah.
He asked you, 2.5 years ago, and you said, yeah, I'm available in October of 2025. 2020.
That's right.
Yeah, at first it was like, I don't really.
I gotta know
I
about
don't really
this.
want to do it. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Jay did. What couple was last year, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Jay.
Yeah.
Well, from Leahy. Yeah, we want to get you for the longest time. Dude.
All right. Well, we're doing it.
We're
Good.
gonna get
Yeah.
into
Deep
the.
Yeah, no,
Seth?
no pressure. We've been waiting 3 years.
Yeah.
So it
3
better
years,
be
yeah.
good.
Better be
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
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 I want to hear some real gems come out of you.
Let's start with Laverman. You watch it all, but actually before that, why don't we go to the final? Because you were at the final of the U.S. Open, front row, you bastard.
Which was, I gotta tell you, man, it has everything to do with who you know in this world.
Yeah,
I mean, my buddy is the mover and the shaker,
yeah.
right? And he wanted to be a judge. You know, the guy that called the scores, sitting up in the chair.
Oh, an
Yeah,
umpire.
Right, he wanted to be an
Yeah.
umpire. He wanted to
Wow.
be a head ump, right? That was his second career after Microsoft.
Wow.
And then he found out what it took to get there.
Mm.
Right, it's like 10 years of training.
It's
and
got to
this
be
and
a
that.
bunch. You got to go to the lower
It's
tournaments,
crazy,
right?
So he goes, okay, how about the USTA board instead?
Yeah.
Right, which is a pretty damn good deal.
No kidding.
But that was the first final we'd been to at the U.S. Open together.
Oh, really? Because you guys
Because
have seen
we'd done the Aussie, we'd done Wimbledon,
Yep.
we've done Indian Wells and places like that. But the U.S. Open was wild, and not just because of the tennis.
Yeah.
Because of who also attended,
Mm.
right? And they had to put up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
Right.
it was a Secret Service.
The Secret Service came in the day before, and
Yep.
they come into the president's suite, and they're looking around, checking
You guys,
everything out.
you guys are there.
We're there, but he was over in the Rolex.
Yeah.
Right. And the USTA sent out a message. Don't show negative reactions or
Yeah,
any
yeah,
reactions.
whatever,
right.
yeah.
Okay. But what happened was they had to put up all this extra security outside for people to get into the final, like
Yeah.
the people in the top stands.
Yeah.
And they all missed like the first set because it
Yeah,
took
the
so long to get
stands
through.
the stands were
They're
empty.
empty up there because they were trying to get through security.
Yeah.
Right. And then they showed
How
him
did they
on-
not see that coming? How do they, can't you?
They
document
tried to, but
people in there?
people probably didn't
I
get
guess
in
people,
time.
they
They
can't
couldn't get there
force
in
people to
time.
get
and a
there
lot of
certain
people
time.
didn't necessarily know he's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
I
true.
mean, it's
Right.
probably in a story here or there,
Right.
but the lines were going out the door all the way to like the front gate. It was
Yeah.
crazy, and they weren't moving at all. So
Yeah, because even to delay the start, they even tried to push it. It was
know,
like 45 minutes.
a,
Yeah.
a third of the people missed the entire first set,
Yeah.
which sucked for them, right? And then they
Those
showed
Well, it's a
tickets
pretty affordable ticket, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a big
yeah, I know, yeah. So missing one set, fine. That made it kind of different and took the focus off the tennis a little bit.
Because
they
there
were-
was that
that-
international
That was there, just a little bit.
tension to it.
Right, you
Yeah.
know. But then getting to be there for final, and at the beginning, you want to see those two guys.
Yeah.
Right after the French final and the Wimbledon final, and Carlos came out so hot. You saw it. I mean, he was
Man, but
from
how
the
did
start.
that
He was
feel
so
from-
good.
Because you were front row there.
Yeah.
That must have.
Are you right down in there? That's where
We
it's-
were
The whole
four-
week.
We were we were 4 rows from the front. Sometimes we were front row, second row, third, fourth row, somewhere like that. We were fourth row. Yeah, it was
Leave it
pretty,
up to
it was
Gab,
pretty
man.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's my buddy. It's not me. I just am the plus one, which is
Yeah,
pretty good.
that's-
But being in there for the final, just like the Wimbledon final, the Aussie
Yeah.
final is
Yeah. You were at Aussie 2017, right?
2017,
the
Nadal and Federer.
Federer, yeah.
And Federer, winning that major for the first time since
Yeah.
2012 was his last
12,
major,
that's
maybe.
right.
Yeah.
So 5
5
years after
years.
the knee injury,
Right.
Being down
That-
3-1 in the fifth, yeah.
down a break. I'll tell you, that place was going crazy, as was Wimbledon for Roger.
Yeah.
Right.
Which one were you in the Wimbledon one?
2019 when he lost to Djokovic.
40-15 serving.
Dude,
Mm.
half inch and the match is over.
8-7, yeah.
Yeah,
8-7,
right. He's serving for it,
40-15, yeah.
and everybody was Roger crazy in
Yeah.
2017, 2019 Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And the mood in the stadiums was electric.
I'm sure,
You
man.
know, this one I think a lot of people just wanted to see a good match, and they all want to see what happened at the French.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
tough to...
It's tough to do. I mean, Wimbledon wasn't that.
Wimbledon was straight up.
Neither was this,
Mm.
but that's what everybody was hoping for.
Right.
And Carlos just came out and he was pretty dominant.
I was texting you there doing it, but
Yeah.
it must have felt amplified 10 times what we were seeing on TV, man, because the way he was pummeling that ball at will in that first set, changing the speed,
Yeah.
it was insane, man. How did that hit?
He came out from the first point
Yeah.
hitting the ball huge.
Yeah.
You know, and Sinner was trying to match him and couldn't, right? And when he was hitting big, Carlos gets more balls back.
Yes.
And then as soon as you float one,
Man,
like,
he
good night.
loads
Yeah.
up.
he just loads that ball up. And he didn't even need to have, those rally points he has where he's scrambling,
Yeah.
and then he makes a ridiculous winner, and it gets the
Yeah.
crowd all pumped up. You didn't even need to have that. He was
No.
ready to go.
He was,
And of course, when you're live, the sound,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
right, compared to TV is like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, the speed of those guys on the court, what they do with the ball and what they can do with their feet doesn't translate as well on television.
movement, you're
Something
right.
to see.
I've never seen anyone as fast as Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The balls he gets, the court was playing kind of medium. I'd seen him in Indian Wells, and the balls that he was running down, I've never seen Nadal, Djokovic. They get balls,
Yeah.
but I don't think they're as fast as Carlos. They might be more stretchy. Djokovic reaches.
Yeah.
Carlos is by far the fastest guy I've ever seen on court.
I think they're doing the right thing with him there. They let him be him for a little bit, but he's on track for some. He's gonna
What's he got? He's got 5 majors?
6.
6 now, right?
He's on track. That's 22, man. That's like that's not bad.
If he doesn't get injured, right? Because
Well,
the injuries
Becker
have
has
knocked him
6.
out.
Yeah, injured.
And he's he's going to win the Aussie at some point, so he's going to get the Grand Slam,
Yeah.
right?
He almost got the Olympic in his first try.
Yeah,
Djokovic.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that match, but
he was tight. You saw
was tight? I
he
didn't
was
see
tight
that,
in that
yeah.
match, yeah. But like Sinner, all 4 finals, he
Yeah.
could have had the career
Oh, easy.
slam and counter slam in 1 year.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy.
1 point. Well, you don't know
1 point from the French, and but 2 sets away from the U.S.
Dude, that final it reminded me of those finals when we were like Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic, we're texting like crazy because that was the length of that final and everything. And those guys did not one bathroom break, not one injury break, nothing.
So
Just
what
win.
does that tell you about all the other yahoos that take a bathroom break after a
Of
set?
course, yeah.
You know,
Change of clothes and
little
whatever.
gamesmanship
yeah,
kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's oof. And then Lever, did you see that drop shot? Speaking of crazy shots, you see that drop shot that he hit Alcaraz in the doubles? He drop shotted a guy that was ready halfway inside the service box. That's insane, man.
Doesn't say much about your foot speed.
This thing was just nuts. What do you think about that? What do you think about the Lever Cup?
I mean, I like it.
Yeah,
I like
of
it.
course.
Like it. One, I like the third set tie break, super breaker. And, I like the fact that now it's an actual competition, right? 3 out of the last 4 have been won by the world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, not
London,
more, yeah.
Vancouver, and this year in San Fran. So, I don't know, was it 3 and 6 or 3 and 5
That's- I
overall,
think
something like that?
It's 5-3 now, I think.
5-3, okay.
Yeah.
So now it's a competition,
Mhm.
right?
Wasn't there some negative chatter about it this year or something? What happened this year? I didn't watch it. Wasn't there? Then I read some articles about, I don't know, people not being happy with the play or something like that.
I
Am I
don't know.
making that up?
I didn't. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe you're onto something.
Yeah, I didn't hear that, but
I need more sources. You got to be more prepared, man.
No, I
Should we
can't
have
back,
Ryan
I
look?
can't back anything.
We can have Ryan look it up.
But you get upsets, too, with the
You do.
third set super breaker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's quick.
Yeah.
You got in London, we were there for London and Fed's last
Yes.
match,
Yes.
which was, I can't cry.
Yeah.
The amount of crying going on.
I'm
in
sure, man, that
stadium. I mean, I had tears in my eyes. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was the end of an
The
era.
people
there.
are sobbing behind
Yeah.
me, right? But like Felix upset Djokovic,
Yes,
right?
That's right.
And that's the first time the world had won. They're just a bunch of upsets, right?
that time
this
was
time,
the only time that the big four were in one team and they lost.
and they lost. Yeah, exactly, right?
But I mean, it's kind of
I
like,
think Murray got beat.
yeah,
They're all overrated.
yeah.
This time Alcaraz got beat by Fritz, got tooled by Fritz.
Did 3-2.
I knew Fritz was going to beat Zverev. He has his number.
Oh man,
And Zverev is on his.
that was
He had his chance, and he's kind of dropping.
I was watching a bunch of rallies, and that court was slow. Looked very, very slow. But so many of his forehands in the same rally would not clear the service line.
I know. Well,
It's
he's 20 feet back.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
That's
hitting
true.
from so far back.
Yeah,
So
that's-
I got a question to pose you guys. So I'm talking to Chris, and we're talking about Grand Slams. What are they going to do about the best of 5? And we're debating, and it's something that's conversation that's going on. Certainly, maybe at the USTA, who runs the U.S. Open,
Yeah.
about maybe do they do 2 out of 3 until the second week, and then go 3 out of 5? Do they go 2 out of 3 to, let's say, the semifinals, and then go 3 out of 5, both men and women?
Also, you do
in
that,
terms
you
of
just-
well,
yeah.
it's one of these conversations going on about kind of speeding up tennis, and
Mhm.
baseball's done it with their pitch count. Or
But you think
clock or
that's
whatever.
from the viewership point to get new? Because your tennis fan will watch that.
Well, I mean, a
It's
regular
just-
tennis fan wants 3 out of 5.
Yes, that's
Right.
what I'm saying. It's almost like it's such a high scale, high end viewership that those people are they know tennis. They want to see more of it. It's almost like you need
You think
to
to grab new viewers, they want to make it shorter. 'Cause
shorter.
people
But
don't wanna
now
watch it
would you
5 hours.
lose your
Would you lose your
current?
yeah,
Like the purity of the game. I don't know. I think that's the question.
Or
That's the
would,
debate there.
or would people only watch the end of the tournament anyway because
Yeah,
the early rounds? But then with 2 out of 3, you get more upsets,
definitely,
right?
definitely. And now you drop down the physicality. So that's
Yeah,
that's another
exactly, yeah.
big
So someone that's pulling
Competitor.
some upsets early
yeah.
has more gas in the tank when they get
Like
to
Kyrgios could now win a Grand Slam if you, well 5 years ago.
Yes,
right?
5 years ago. Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's-
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
Djokovic
But those are
could
good
win
questions.
the next 4 slams if
he could. Yeah,
play 2 out of
2
3.
out of 3, right? And
That's a good point.
And does it demean all the slams that came before?
Exactly.
If you get 25 slams, but you only had to go 2 out of 3 for the first week, and this is only a U.S. Open thing. It's not like
Correct.
maybe Wimbledon, the French, and Austria are all talking about it.
But USTA and US Open seems to be that they're in this mindset and business model of expanding and expanding and expanding. But it's also got to be a spot where your expansion now diminishes the product. Like we talked about it, the mix, right? That was a good for viewership, but now you basically put out of work a bunch of mixed players, and so there's a loss that comes with it, and also the efficiency of that move. Now are you losing the quality? Like because the mixed players want it.
One of the things that I know they're talking about too is do you go half the draw, doubles players have to draw, the singles players put together.
You had a very good when we talked about it with Chris at the US Open. He said something that, but making the draw bigger and add a couple more days.
Maybe add another day so you
Yeah.
could get more doubles players in there. That's one possibility. I mean, they're
For
selling
the mix, then.
they're-
Yeah.
for the mix. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's it's essentially now a 3-week tournament anyway.
That's
right.
but that's what I'm saying. They're expanding now. Now they're making money 3 weeks, which is good. I mean,
Right,
it's-
which is great.
Yeah.
They got a ton of fans in there. The place was full.
yeah,
I think they were charging $25 a seat.
yeah. Next week is 30.
Right,
and
but-
then that's
But
fine.
but you're also getting fans access
Mm-hmm.
to go sit in Ash and get up close and watch world class tennis.
Correct.
Right. So that way, though, you could get more of the doubles teams back in because, of course, the doubles team won, which was awesome.
Yes, but I think it was a great idea. I mean, it got me to watch on a Tuesday the week before, and it was great to see those guys play. It was awesome.
Well, I mean,
You're saying it's got to be a balance there. I don't know.
you get the singles players to put people in the stands 'cause
Yeah.
that's who they want to see.
They do.
And you get the doubles players to play the good doubles.
My thing is like, how do you make doubles? Because they've been trying to. How do you? It's so much heavily towards serve plus one.
Yeah.
like so heavy on that. The points, like 80% of the points are not long and not really exciting. The other 20% can be,
Yeah.
but you got to wait quite a bit. And those guys know their spots and so forth. So what do you do there? I know they're trying to. I think that the scoring format, okay, that's a good one. We'll look at it. But I'm thinking, shorter boxes, one serve. I'm just saying, go that way a little bit to get the fun part of doubles, the reflex volleys going, and the lobs, because I watched a bunch of those matches when I was there, and we were waiting for those points. You knew they're not going to come that often, but you only get one every 6 or 7 or 8 points. And the other one is just boom. So that's, I think, doesn't make it that exciting. Because if you have like cool doubles points like you are doing, I think you get more people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
It certainly makes it more exciting.
Yes.
You know.
But
I mean, are they doing let courts now in the mix?
they keep
Was it?
changing back and
They keep
forth.
changing.
I don't think so.
They do ad scoring where it was no ad for a little while, which got the excitement up.
And they used to be
quickly.
10-point breakup, and now it's back to the regular full third set.
Right.
regular
Yeah,
doubles, right?
exactly. You know,
Keep
so
going back
they're
and
playing it. I mean, the U.S. Open was the first place they did the 5th set tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Now everybody does it,
Mhm.
some form of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
Is Wimbledon still at 12? 12 all? They do
maybe
breaker?
12 all. It was at 2019. I can tell
Yeah.
you that because that sucked.
Yeah,
watching
Ryan,
that,
see if you can.
But they all do some variation
Yeah.
of it, right? And so that's a good change, probably.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
Definitely. And when you get to that point, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what. I just don't. And how did they get to sanction the fast 4?
Okay, yeah, so he was explaining that to me.
Mhm.
It already had been sanctioned, I think, because of the
Next gen?
next gen as a acceptable form, and so I believe it was easier for the USTA to get that sanctioned here
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because it's already been done before.
Yeah.
I think the next gen took some doing to get that sanctioned.
Because initially they didn't give them points for that.
Right.
But then they sanctioned at 3 out of 5 for.
Yeah,
fast
so
forwards,
I
right?
think because of that, it was a little easier for them to get this sanctioned
Yeah.
for a
And you
Grand
were
Slam
saying-
title,
Yeah, yeah.
which I thought was pretty cool. Right?
Yeah.
It really
Fast.
at Wimbledon.
What,
Okay.
a 12 all or a 6 all?
So they've moved it up, yeah,
Yeah.
because it was 12 all. They did it
Yeah.
in 2019, so now it's 6 all. So yeah, everybody's pretty much in the same boat now.
So did they play the only final? They went to 12 all? Fed played the only final? All right, let's slide to your line of work, mister. Let's get into some heavy mental stuff and how we can solve some problems. What do you think tennis is often considered the most like mentally demanding sport?
Well, up until recently, you were on your own.
Yeah.
Right? You had to figure it out on your own. Any coaching was illegal,
Yeah.
right? So there's no essentially any help,
Yeah, you gotta figure it out on
which
your own.
now,
Yeah.
you know, you're not having a coach like a football player setting up plays, telling you what to do. You know, you don't get the break where you come off like baseball and the manager is
somebody
going to
lift you
lift
up
you
and tell-
up,
tell
and
you
or
what to do, yeah.
teammates and stuff like that. Now doubles, you have that, but you're on your own, which
Yeah.
I thought was the best part of it.
Yeah.
I think allowing coaching, yeah, it was happening, but that kind of takes away from a little bit because that's a strength that certain players have
Mm-hmm.
that almost now others can have a crutch. You know, and it was who was it? It was one of the decathletes at the Olympics. When they asked them, who do you think the best athletes in the world are? And they said tennis players.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the physical. You got to be fast, in shape, strong, eye-hand coordination, all those things. But the whole mental side, you're on your own out there,
Yeah.
figuring that stuff out. There are no coaches, and so you got to have your skills lined up. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have your
Yeah.
routines, you know, your go-to phrases, whatever you need to manage yourself out there on your own.
It's a battle that you have to fight. You have to
Right.
hit your
Right.
lows.
Yeah. Which I used to love because that was a strength,
Yeah.
you know.
What do you think? How much? Like, two players at the same level, right? We can talk the highest level ATP, WTA, or like your club player there. Similar level players. Do you think like it's becoming like a half mental, half physical battle there, on a match there? Is it more physical, more mental? Do you know what I mean? Because it's a very mental sport. Like when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's connected because you can be mentally tough, but when you get tired, it's harder, right?
Yep.
So if you're more physically fit than someone, it gives you a mental edge anyway, because you know you can stay out there longer.
That's a good point. So they're connected.
Right. So, like for example, I was coaching the high school team, and I had a young girl, great athlete. Wasn't a tennis player. She was a soccer player. Great athlete, good eye-hand coordination. She was playing a girl that used to do the clinics, great strokes, good player, but kind of a thinner frame, right? And it's like 95 degrees out there. And all I told the athlete is, you're a better athlete than her.
Yeah.
You just keep her out there and keep getting balls back, and she's going to wilt. And that's what happened, right? The girl that was by far the cleaner, more polished tennis player
Yeah.
ran out of gas, and then she starts getting upset. And,
Of course.
and that's what I mean is you're physically fit. The girl that was the athlete, and this is at, high school level, but you see it too on the tour, right?
course.
Some guy their legs start to go, and the mistakes start to come, and it's hard to stay in there for those extra 5 shots in a rally. Right, so they're totally connected. You got to have the legs, but if you got the legs and then you got the head too, that's a huge weapon.
Massive.
I mean the guy that's probably the best of that is Djokovic. Once he's lost the weight and started doing the hyperbaric chamber and all that, right? Then he could stay out there forever, and just get balls back. Right? Look at Agassi, second part of his career.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right? Got into shape, got lean, and just punished people and said, okay, we want to stay here 3 hours. I'm just going to bang balls, eat 3 hours.
Right.
Oh, you need to go 4? Let's go 4, kind of
We
thing,
can do
right?
this the hard way, or we can do it the easy way.
Yeah.
But either way, it's going to get done.
Right. So I mean, the physical sets up a lot of the mental.
Right.
Confidence in yourself and your abilities and everything
Yeah,
else that comes with
right.
it, right?
I mean, I remember when we went to the USTA one year. The year I played singles. Mike had got me in there with Danimal, and I was actually in okay shape, right? And I won a couple matches based on my legs, not because I was necessarily the better player. Because it's end of August, we're in Western Mass,
Right. Yep.
and
Those could be. Yeah.
it was hot, right? And I got some decent wins because of my legs and because I trusted my legs.
Yeah.
Well, let's tell everybody you're the original Saber.
National. Okay, yeah, that's right. I was doing that long before Roger.
I know.
Absolutely, I was. Yeah.
You were, man, and you lobbed down the line over the net.
Oh
player.
yeah.
Of course.
Those are the fun shots, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Remember when he was doing that?
I do remember. I
Saber
remember
lobbed
being
down the
victim
line?
of it. Yeah.
Boy.
Victimized more than once.
Hey, one thing that reminded me when you coach high school, what were you telling the parents all the time the first day? I'm only going to talk to your kids and.
Yeah. So, and this was actually suggested to me by a parent, right?
Yeah.
My first year of coaching, she goes, the parents are difficult.
Yeah.
To put it nicely.
Yeah.
So she goes, you might want to kind of lay down how you're going to do things up front so they're not surprised. So I basically had a meeting with the girls and then a separate meeting with the parents. And I basically told them how I run the team. And I said, okay, this is exactly how it's going to go. Don't come up to me in the middle of the match and, talk to me or, tell me what's what, because I really don't want to hear it. This is how we do it. This is how we set the team. Here's your chance to say whatever you have to say now. And so we'd have a meeting and get it out, and it was done for the year.
Don't talk to me for the rest of the year.
I really had no issue with the parents for the rest of the year, right? So it was great advice, and I did the same thing with the girls.
Yeah.
And this is how we do it, so there's not a mystery and there's not a wishy-washy or do it spur of the moment. It was laid out.
It doesn't hurt that you went 7 consecutive years without a loss.
Well, yeah, we didn't go that many, but it was pretty good that the team was pretty nasty. Winchester was just
win every year. The parents
was deep.
Can take it.
Well, yeah, but parents want their kid playing versus another kid.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there's that.
Well,
Right.
especially in Winchester, because your kid could probably be playing
Yeah.
top singles position if they lived in another town, and those teams are so deep that like
they might be on the bench.
You're seeing your kid do clinics all year, this and that, and like they're a good player, but they're just not even getting a whiff of an actual varsity match just because there's a bunch of kids in front of them that are better.
Yeah.
They're better,
They're
not
just-
that are
they're
on
just
the
better.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that have won the challenge matches,
Right.
And there it is, and the parent has a hard time. Well, they can do it, but if you say, here's the challenge match, here's the scores,
Yeah.
what do you want to do about that?
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you got to make a call. Like when you have a deep team like that, one year, it was tough to do. I had 2 second doubles teams that were both really good. And so one got to play one match, one got to play next match. And so they both had a chance to play in the playoffs for the state title
Yeah.
because they both deserved it. But one of them got to play the finals.
Right.
So somebody's going to have to sit, and so that's a tough call. And you go with the team that won the challenge match that actually gets to play the final.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how deep we were. So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
Yeah. But
got to
yeah,
deal with.
the parents, as you know, with youth sports are
Yes.
a handful.
Yeah.
Tennis is no different.
Right.
Well, it's worse in tennis, isn't it? Because it's even though it's a team sport, it's very individual too. So it's like when my kid's team is playing your kid's team, it's one thing, but when my kid is playing your kid, now it's like it's personal between us, which makes it even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is a team sport, but very much.
Well, my kid's playing ahead of your kid.
Yeah. Even within the team, Yeah.
Those parents have some growing up to do, right?
There's some, and so you laid it out, and I never really had an issue with parents.
Yep. That's great.
Any year, unless I screwed up, which I did a couple times. There's no doubt. Yeah.
It happens.
So it happens. Certainly my first year. But and so after that, they were pretty good, and they were very supportive. And you're right. When you're winning a lot, it helps.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
problems.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's dive a little bit into what you did today with the workshop. By the way, that was awesome. Preparation and routines. Kind of like get into that a little bit. The importance of having a routine, and while those players have their own routines, we're actually talking with. We had last podcast was with Christopher Cleary, which is a writer, and followed all those guys, and he talked about early Federer days and everything else. How he had people helping him with developing routines and getting his focus going. So dive into that a little bit.
Well, I mean, as you know now on tour, everybody's got a sports psychologist or somebody to help them with that side of the game.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for the edge. And that's one of the big edges that I think's become pretty apparent is you need to have that if you really want to get the most out of what you got. Yeah. Right? And some people probably start at a higher level than others. Some people it's a skill set anyway. You got to like a Leighton Hewitt, Alex DeMinor. Right from the very first ball you ever seen them play, they're fighters.
Oh yeah,
They got that part, right? And you look at Kyrgios, big shots, but he's not the same kind of fighter, right? But it's a starting point, and then you can work from there. And having some kind of coach to help with that, I think, is hugely important.
Yeah.
And a lot of other sports do it too now.
Of course.
I mean, the U.S. Olympic team's got sports psychologists all over the place.
Yeah.
Right, sports psych coaches, consultants, whatever you want to call it, working with the mental aspects because it's important.
And you're talking about how that resets you and gets you like back in the to what your goal is. And now, is that I'm not sure if we got into it deep today, but is visualizing part of it too on your routine, or just
it can be. I mean,
depend-
essentially, think of the routine as a reset button.
Yeah.
Right. And then what you put in to that reset time can be individual to what's going to work for you. Right. Some people might use a phrase, right? Some kind of word to refocus, right? Like I was saying, the example that I asked Roger Federer about the finals of the Aussie Open 2017. I said, what are you thinking about as you're resetting for that match point? And he was much more strategic, right? Serve down the middle. It's probably coming back, look for the forehand, which is exactly what he got. Puts the forehand away on a line for winner, match over, right? So that's kind of where his focus was. Others
so he
might
had a tactical focus there.
He had a tactical focus. He had a plan, right? And that's what he's thinking about as he's getting ready for the, to step up to line and serve, right? So it could be tactical. It could be energy driven. A lot of them are breathing, right? It could be visualization. I told you about the player that visualized letting a balloon go, and inside the balloon she was picturing like all the bad stuff sailing away, letting it go so that she could then reset for the next point.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's visualization.
So
right, so you can
that could be one of the routines.
Yeah. So so in other words, what you put into the routine, is really what's going to work for you as an individual. I'm not prescribing you have to do this, you have to do that, because people are so different. Yeah. But put something in there, right? It's not a blank space, right?
You had a good point today when you were explaining in a workshop that you have to practice it, and you ask people like, well, how often you forgot to say it, how often you were 7 seconds late, how often you were 3 seconds early, and it's true. Yeah. And the hands are going up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
You want to get better at anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's a forehand.
Yeah, it's just not a magic pill. You got to keep doing it.
Whether it's your focus ability, right? You got to practice it. That's right. You guys remember Mike Lynch, sportscaster, right? Yep. I did an interview with him, and since he was young, I think it was a football coach when he was young, gave him the 5 Ps, and he remembered that all through his entire career. What was it? Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Well, there you go.
Right, 5 Ps. But that's something that he carried from a coach when he was in youth football, through his whole professional career, right? And a routine is essentially a proper prep for that next point on tennis court. That's really what you're doing. You're letting go of whatever. You're maybe thinking about what happened, and that's going to help inform maybe what you're going to do in the next point. But it's essentially in a short little piece of time getting you ready to play that next point to the best of your ability.
Well, it's something you can control, too, which is like sometimes when you're in a situation that maybe is feeling like you can't control it, you can sort of like anchor yourself. You're like, all right, I can at least control this. Let me start here and then see what happens.
Yeah, next, it resets you to a place that you can do whatever you need to do for the next point.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's calming down,
right?
Whether it's, swearing, getting pissed off, letting it go, and getting back in. Whether it's, geez, you just had a 40-ball rally.
Yeah.
And getting your breathing under control before you start the next point.
Yeah.
Get yourself.
Whether your mind's racing. We've all been through this where we might lose a few points in a row because we get kind of out of sorts.
Yeah.
And it can help bring you back in to kind of slow down and center you and set you up better for the next point.
Yeah,
and you got to repeat.
Just a few deep breaths. It's amazing what just a simple, doesn't have to be that complicated. Just a few deep breaths sort of slows everything down. And
another thing that was I picked up from you today that was very interesting and important, the more you think about it, is how some people's rituals are like to bring them down because they're too hyper, as the breathing, and some of them to get the energy up because they're a little too, so the feet moving, we see on all those players, and then some other ones getting the breathing down. So kind of figure out who you are, where you are. It doesn't need to be those two. It could be something else.
Everybody's different, right? Yeah. So it's figuring out the combinations that's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to get you, what do you want to call it? That ideal performance state for you, which is the right energy level, the right level of focus, right? Or strategic thinking, tactical, right? And it's different for different sports, right? Hockey players are going to need to get pretty high up.
Yeah.
Golfers are going to have to get kind of much sort of calmer before they step up hitting the ball, right? And so being able to manage your energy levels and being able to understand where your energy level needs to be is a big part of it. And so having that awareness, we do the exercises at the beginning to just get people to start thinking about what the heck's going on.
Yeah, just
in your own
forming
head
it,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
I think it's a testimony to how hard it is to do this, that all of these tour players are traveling with a specialist, a sports psychologist or whatever. It's not like, well, they did a 2-hour session with Gav, so they should be
They're
good
done.
to go.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I'll just go home and practice. I mean, they travel with them just like their physios do and their tennis coaches do and their stringers do.
Right.
It is that important that they've just made it part of. Because
Or
of-
that part of their game can be the breakthrough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Well, we
like,
were
they-
talking about like maybe changing formats and different things to attract more players. I really found, and I didn't mean to go back to the earlier part of the conversation, but watching the U.S. Open this year, I was really surprised how many really compelling matches I watched in the first week.
Yeah.
You just didn't see a lot of that. I mean, the depth is so deep. There's so much good tennis out there that, like, the guy who's 70 in the world is going to give a top 4 seed a handful if the conditions are right.
Yeah.
And you have to be mentally, physically ready to go from the beginning. I really enjoyed the first week a lot.
Yeah.
Years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, the first week was just walkover matches.
Yeah.
Your top players pretty much coasted. You'd get an occasional hiccup, but for the most part, the better players just kind of waddled through and showed up for the semis and the finals.
Yeah.
And now it's tough all the way. So they're all searching for this last little.
Yeah. I mean, you got 1 and 2 in the world who are easily head and tails above everybody else.
Yes.
Right? But think about the other semifinalists and the quarterfinalists, right? You had a lot of the top 10 guys out of the tournament already.
Right.
Knocked out by
Yeah.
other players,
Oh yeah.
right? You had some breakthrough guys, DeManure, FAA, right? Had a
Yeah,
great run,
tournament, yeah.
right? Coming out from, was he 25 in the world and made that deep run,
Yeah.
right? And so,
I was impressed with that match because I was at that match, him and Rublev,
yeah,
and he was locked in there.
and
Yeah.
he took out Zverev, Rublev,
Yeah.
and DeManure,
Yeah.
3 straight rounds, right? Was it 3 top 10 guys or 3 top 15 guys right, there?
was
Yeah.
Rublev.
So that piece of it is just as important. You know, you got to have the strokes, you got to have the fitness,
Right.
but you got to have the mental game too.
And all of those, like, shifting a little bit to pressure and performance there, they will help you, because I want to go like a little specific here, not too deep. How would you, let's say you have a double fault problem, right? Or you're just nervous, and so many unforced errors. Like, this type of routine or ritual will help you reset, or you want to create something that will help you do that. Because, again, with what you were mentioning today, and it's so important, like, people are in the negative mindset. I call it, don't double fault, don't do this, right? So that's the number one thing. Just don't think about that bad error or the double fault. Just focus on how you're going to make the shot, right?
Well, I mean, think about, once again, what you want to put in there.
Yeah.
Right. The don't double fault. Yeah, that's a number. Get rid of that.
Yes.
But, you know, when you're doing your routine, maybe it's to help focus on what you do want to do when you're serving.
Yeah.
Hit up on the ball, right?
Yeah.
Accelerate through the ball. That's the stuff you have control over, right? And you let the outcome be what the outcome's going to be, right? Worrying about the outcome, though, is the killer.
Yeah.
Ahead of
Exactly,
time.
the negative.
Is the absolute killer, right?
The mind remembers the negative.
Right.
And so you get rid of the positive.
You know, and
really quick.
sometimes it is a technical thing. What happened with Zabalenka,
Yeah.
right? She had all the issues, went to that sort of swing guru,
Yeah.
and in a couple months
That's
had
it,
sort of
she's-
Coco's going through the same thing right
Yeah.
now, right? It may be a technical thing, right? That's one thing.
Did you watch that a little bit? Did you watch the serve?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, she's hitting some good ones, but I think some of it is trusting it. She just started doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Zabalenka now is pretty solid. She'll throw some doubles in,
Yeah,
but not like she was before.
She moves, yeah.
Probably the most impressive person back to watch was Sharapova. She was winning matches with like 20 double faults and still winning matches. Talk
Yes.
about
We forget
mentally.
about that, yeah.
Mentally.
She
freaking
had her
so
routines,
strong.
man. She had her dance.
She
the
had her routines.
turnaround,
Yeah,
the hair,
absolutely.
everything.
She did it all, right?
Yeah.
So
She was actually good with that. She was following that.
She was
Yeah.
sort of one of the best examples
Yeah.
of seeing somebody committed to that, and that I'm telling you, that's probably one of the reasons that she could still win a match with 20 double faults.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's tough to do. Yeah, I mean, that's hard to do at that level, any level, right? That's hard to do. Not only physically with the points you're losing, but emotionally and be able to manage your way through that
Yeah.
when you're just handing points away, right?
That's
5 games you just handed away, 20
easy.
double faults,
Yeah.
right? And still win matches. So it's what you put in with the routine. The routine is essentially a physical reminder
Yeah.
to reset and refocus.
What would you tell someone that's has problems closing a set or choking at closing a set, and like what again, everybody's different. What would kind of trigger that for people?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is the process, and maybe it's tactical.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something you got to look at, where someone maybe they get set points and they go big on the first shot.
Yeah.
And they keep blowing those opportunities,
That's a good point.
right? And then it comes back to get them. Maybe tactically you got to do a little different. I had a kid in college when I was coaching. He would go serve and go big on the very next shot. And so I asked, right? And I asked him, I said, okay, do me a favor. All I want you to do with the second shot, no matter what comes back, is go right back down the middle deep with the next shot. After that, go ahead and do what you want. But the amount of points he was giving away on that second shot, going away big, was just causing so many problems. Right? Now all of a sudden he's just one ball deeper into the rally.
Yeah.
And now he's winning games and sets much easier just by changing one tactic.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's tactical.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's certainly mental, right, where you get caught up in, once again, the outcomes.
Well, the outcome or the past matches that you lost, so now you bring that memory.
Well, now all of a sudden
right?
you're not focused. Because like I mentioned
You're
today, right, if you're thinking about anything but what you're supposed to be doing, then you got to work on your concentration skills,
you
because
bring
you're
that-
no longer focused on the right things.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, last week I was up 40-15 and I lost a set, and all of a sudden this week you think about that, you're done.
Right.
You're out of the moment.
Well,
right?
yeah, because you're no longer present.
Yeah.
You're no longer, focused on what you need to do in the here and now. Right. So it could be tactical. It could be what you're paying attention to. You're distracted by other things, right? But really what it means is you're not focused on the right things.
And that's basically, you can apply that to momentum swings and all that stuff, right? That you all of a sudden you can't control, like what's...
Well, I mean, sometimes a guy, an opponent goes on a run and hits a couple great shots. What are you going to do?
Yep.
But here's the question. Do you still maintain, or do you start getting tension and anxious because they've hit a couple great shots? Or is it just, okay, that was a great shot, and you still go through your routine and your
just
focus?
a passage of play.
And the ebbs and flows of a tennis match that happen. Right?
Yeah.
And you stick with what you've been doing.
Yeah, I remember our great coach when we were growing up, Lloyd Thomas, used to ask us in clinics, he would set up the scenario, you're out playing a singles match, it's the summer, it's hot. You split sets with your opponent, it's 2-all in the third, and you look across and you notice that your opponent is kind of running out of gas. They look like they're spent. What should you do? And everybody said, well, I'd drop shot lob them. I'd make them run. And he would always say, that's stupid. That's just so stupid. Whatever you're doing, it's working.
Yeah,
just keep
doing
doing the
it,
same
right,
thing that you've been. Don't change. Why would you change? You're winning.
Right.
Even though it's 2-all in the third, you're winning. You're in better shape than them. It was always a good point that I took with me.
Yeah.
Stay with what the present moment right now. I'm winning. Just keep
Keep
going.
doing what you're doing.
I'm not going to change my game to make them run because I have touch, as you know.
Well, that happened at the U.S. Open this year. Who was it? Makova had
Yes.
the bad leg.
Yes, with Kostyuk, Marta Kostyuk.
Yeah, but she won. But she went and lost.
She
Lost to. But it was a close
Quarters,
match
in the quarters.
right? And the woman she was playing kind of started to change her. She was dominating, but kind of started to change her game a little because she was struggling so much, and almost lost the second set because of it. Instead of just keep banging balls. Right.
Who was it?
I can't remember who it was.
Was it I think
Osaka. It was Osaka.
Yes.
Osaka was just banging balls,
Yes.
right? And then, Mukova starts coming up a little lame. She couldn't go to her right. Osaka kind of backs off a little and almost loses the second set, as opposed to doing what our coach said.
Right.
Just keep doing what you're doing and get off the damn court, right? Yeah. But that's also a distraction.
Yeah.
Right? Watching over there as
Right.
opposed to focus on what I'm doing here.
I'll remind that sometimes, like when we're viewing matches, some of the ladies' teams, and it's one of the reminders I'll give them is when they're like when you're down, you and your partner, you're like talking, you're trying to figure out why we're down. If you're up and you're cruising, sometimes you're just out there and you're not actually thinking about what you're doing that's giving you that lead. And then all of a sudden you get to 5-2, and now you're trying to win the set, and you're like, what do we need to do here? Well, what do you mean? You're at 5-2. Like you have all the research is there. You're at 5-2. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. But like that panic of, okay, now
Closing.
It's time. Yeah. I'm like,
Takes you out of your mode.
yeah. Discuss maybe what's working while you're winning instead of just being like, what a good day we're having. And then all of a sudden at 5-2, you feel like you have to do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Tough sport. It's a very tough sport.
It's a tough sport, and when you're out there on your own, that's part of what makes it so tough.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You got to manage that.
When
Or
I,
with a partner.
when I was in high school, this thing happened to me where I would go up 4-2 in a set and then lose the set 6-4. Literally, it would be I'd go up 4-2. No matter how it would happen, at some point I'd be up 4-2 and then lose the set. And like I knew it was going to happen before we played. And I couldn't break out of it. I couldn't break out of it. Remember Ted Benton?
Yeah.
He had to hypnoptize me. Literally, that's what my parents like.
Yeah.
We got to bring in the
Yeah.
big guns here.
Yeah.
You obviously can't go away. But it was like, I going into these matches, I'm like, man, it's gonna happen. And I could just, all of a sudden it would be like 2-2, and I'd be like, oh God. And I'd hold and I'd break, and then I'm like, and it would just get away from me. And sometimes it was, I couldn't even believe the way it was getting away from me. Like, this is just,
How can this possibly happen?
how could this possibly happen? But it would happen. And like looking back, I'm like, man, I must have had something to do with it.
You self-fulfilled that.
Well, yeah, you did,
I mean, that's
absolutely.
that's
You
how
predicted
strong
what
it
was
is.
gonna come,
That's
yeah.
how strong it is. Like I was finding ways.
You're
to,
making yourself be right.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
watch this. I'm
Yeah.
going to lose it 6-4.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, but I mean, what a.
Weren't you doing like, you had to, like, the exercise for you was to imagine you winning?
A perfect. Yeah, I had to play a perfect set in my head.
Okay.
Like the night before.
Yeah.
I'd play a perfect win every single point. If I didn't do it, I was supposed to start over again.
He was losing points.
And
in
I
his
couldn't
mind.
even do that. But I'm not kidding. I would get to close the set. It would be like I'd play a perfect set, and I would, instead of just putting a serve in and hitting a forehand winner, I'd see myself double fault or break a forehand in my own brain. Which now I'm like, how am I supposed to beat a real person? I just like, I can't even do it in my head. But like, that's amazing how strong your brain is. Because like, I felt the pressure there of in my own mind. I'm like, I just got to not miss. I'm not even playing. It's just in my head. And
that's the
visual.
visualization you're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
right there. I
yeah.
mean, and it's a skill.
But it is. It's
it's
work.
a
But that
skill.
stuff, no doubt, that stuff works. It
Yeah.
eventually, all that stuff kicked in and made you feel like you had put in some work, where you're like, you feel unstoppable.
But how long did it take you to run through that till you could play a clean set visually, in your head?
Oh, a while.
It took a while,
It
right?
took a while. Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about.
A lot of start overs.
Yeah, the repetition and the practice. It's a skill like anything else.
Yeah.
The best news in the world is anybody can get better at it.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody. But you got to be pretty deliberate about it. You got to be clear about it, or what you're trying to do, and then you got to.
Do you think you have to have the belief that it's going to work too, or no matter what? Because I feel like there's a little bit of a buy-in on like how much your brain can actually change the outcome of what's going on out there. I'm not sure.
I think buy-in's huge, right? I mean, the first person that got a sports psychologist on tour, people are like,
Right.
what's going
What's
on
that head
there?
case
Well,
doing?
you must be a head case, right?
Right. Yeah.
But that buy-in, then they might start to see some results, and they're like, oh shit, maybe I should
I
be
need one of
talking to
those,
that
right?
guy,
I'm
right?
half a year behind now because this
Yeah,
guy's
exactly. Yeah, so certainly when you're seeing your peers
Yeah.
and the difference it can make, it's easier to have the buy-in going in. Like, oh, okay, maybe this makes a difference, right?
Right.
First time out, but if you're dropping every set 4-2, you're sort of at the bottom of the barrel, like, crap, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So you're going to try anything.
Yeah. No, I was right.
Yeah.
Ted Benton.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Throw that name out.
What would you tell somebody? What would be their routine or ritual to how to look after losing the first set? Obviously, those things happen, and sometimes they look at it, especially in a time match, right? That we have in indoor clubs, and that first set is valuable in the scoring at the end of the match. But how they should look at it at the start of the second set, right? Forget about.
One of the things we talked about today was the act as if.
Yeah.
Right. The body language is a good place to start.
Yep.
That okay, no big deal.
Yep.
Right. I got this still. Right. It's just a set. That's a easy place to kind of manage yourself. Right. The internal dialogue is tough, but if you can start there, it's a place to build off.
Yeah.
Right. Thing I talk to a lot of people about is you don't have to reinvent the wheel with a lot of this stuff. Right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at some of your favorite players and watch what happens after they lose a set. What do they look like?
Yeah.
And copy that if you like that, right? Copy that, body language to start. Now we start adding the internal dialogue, right? And a lot of ladies today were coming up with some good things,
Yeah.
right? In terms of how to interpret. You know, it was a close set. You know, I played well. It was just a few points here and there, right? You know, sort of framing it in a way that keeps your motivation up, right? You know, keeps your attitude positive.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a refocus on, you know, tactically, how do I want to start the games? Maybe do that a little bit differently or better, or keep doing what you've been doing because it was a close set.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it's going to be what's going to be helpful for you, but I'd start with acting like you got this.
Yeah.
And then
Not over yet.
it's not over
Not
yet,
over yet.
right? One of the ladies
easy,
said from Monty Python,
Yeah, not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
Yeah.
You
Not
know?
dead yet,
Yeah,
yeah.
not dead. It's just a set, not dead yet,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And then, okay, how do I want to approach this next set? Oh,
Yep.
you know, I'm playing pretty well. Keep doing what you're doing,
Right.
right?
Correct.
You know, if you aren't playing that well, hey, you know,
Is
act
your
like
chance
you
to-
got it. Hey, I got a lot of improvement I can do here, right? And I just
Positive
lost that
about that,
close
yeah.
set.
Right.
I know I got a lot of upside coming, right? That's another way to keep that motivation up, right? You know, or you know, I was starting to really play well at the end of that set. Let's just keep doing what we're doing because we were starting to,
Yeah.
you
Doing
know,
good.
Especially in a
rise.
tennis match because it can turn
Yes.
so
On a
quick.
dime.
You've had it happen both ways, where you think you're in
Sure.
control and then all of a sudden you're underneath it, or vice versa. Like one point,
1 point.
one
sometimes.
point
Yeah.
can literally like just shift
Yeah.
your confidence level, the way you feel, and all of a sudden it's different,
You move.
and you can feel it instantly. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, you know?
You do the simple 1 point at a time.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, we're in this match 1
Yep.
point at a time.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of different ways you can go, but I'd always start with act like you got this.
Yeah. You're the one that knows here, but I like to lately to really frame it from like a zoomed out position. I kind of make sure you don't collapse life with this game that you're playing right now for 90, which is a bigger, obviously, topic there. But you're playing a game. You chose to play this game. You chose to play this match for 90 minutes. Make sure your system, body and mind, they're like focused on this match. But all there is this match.
Mm.
It does not translate when you
Yeah.
get off the court.
Yeah.
And so what are you going to do? What are you going to do, your little avatar, when you play that match? You just put in the best position it can be,
Mhm.
do the best you can,
Mhm.
and then that's it. But a lot of the times that transfers to, and we know this in the club players, like, okay, I lost. Now what does my
Yeah.
partner think? What does my
Yeah.
team think? What does my coach think? And it's all those things are so
Yeah.
heavy on so many players, right? That's,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
gotta
know.
learn to shut all that out. That's
Yeah.
hard. That's the hardest. That's
but-
probably the hardest thing.
Well, once again, if you're thinking about that stuff, you're not paying attention to tennis, are you?
Right.
Right.
yeah.
So that's the awareness. Like, shit, I got to stop that right now
Yeah,
Right.
and replace that with some better
Just
stuff.
yeah.
Right.
Get yourself
You
going.
gotta be aware
Yeah.
of that. It is tough, but you'll find as you pick better things to focus on, and you're really focused on it, that stuff can't get in. You
Yep.
know, there's just no room
Right,
for it,
doesn't
right?
allow it to get in there.
It's like
Yeah,
a bubble,
yeah.
right? You're really
Right.
focused. That won't come in.
Yeah.
You're right, not allowing those things to
Yeah.
come your way.
And the way you do that is by really being clear on this other stuff,
Right.
and it blocks that stuff out.
Yeah. Let's go deep into partnerships. We see, yeah, because it's a big one,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of the times it's obviously ego related, and they come off the court, they come off the match mode, and they say some bad things about their partner, right? And then they feel bad about it. But in the moment, it's tough to control. But the other end too is like you have so many supportive partners, so you can see the difference between that. How would somebody get better at it? At being a good partner,
Like
At
a
being
more
a good partner.
supportive,
a supportive partner.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so first off, when I hear it's hard to control, I say a little bit of BS.
Good use of support. Good.
Okay, because you can control and manage all of that.
Yeah.
And if you let it go, right there, you're not being a good partner.
Yeah.
But that's a choice, because
Mhm.
everybody's got a choice. You throw your partner under the bus. That's a choice you made. Don't
Yep.
tell me I couldn't help myself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to throw
Heat
my
of the
partner under
moment.
the
I
bus,
wasn't in
right?
control. Heat
I
of the
was-
moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I was emotional.
Mm.
Right. No, you made a choice to let your emotions take over there. So there are choices there. So I don't fully buy the
Fair enough.
I had no choice. Yeah, BS. Now, as far as it being a good partner, that is also a choice in the other direction. What does a good partner look like?
Yeah.
Well, that's a question between partners sometimes. I mean, we're not talking a marriage, but
Yeah.
it can get a little spicy
Sure.
with some of these partnerships. But it's also, hey, ask your partner, what do you need me to do to be a good partner for you?
Right.
Do you need me to constantly pump you up, or do you want me to be quiet? What is it that you're looking for that's going to help you?
Yeah.
And let's talk about what I can do, and vice versa. This is kind of what I need from you.
Yep.
That's a conversation that probably needs to happen.
Yeah.
Versus you put
Or what do we want out of this partnership?
what do we want out of this partnership?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we want to get out of this season? What
Yeah.
do, you know,
Yep.
those kind of conversations are pretty important to have, as opposed to trying to
not-
figure it
They're-
out.
I think
Don't
they're
happen
under-
that often,
I
though.
think they're under. Well, I think people look at their tennis ability, and that's it. What can this person do on the court, and how their two personalities might
Yeah.
work out or not work out isn't necessarily a thought, but that's probably more important than the
Yeah.
tennis part of it.
When I was in junior tennis, I showed up for a tournament. I think it was at the Quincy Club, and it was singles doubles, and
Red clay.
red clay, just because that's what
Yeah.
it was. I hated
Yeah.
it, but I had showed up, and 3 different guys had put me down as their doubles partner.
Ooh. You're popular.
Right? And I went with the guy that I loved playing with, Chris Capicella, best friend
Yeah.
for like 44 years, right? Because we had a good time on the court. We may or may not have been the best tennis team, but I wanted the doubles to be fun,
Yeah.
right? One of the guys was probably a better doubles player, and I played some doubles with him, and we would win, but it wasn't that much fun.
Yeah.
Right? So it was thinking about what do I want to get out of it, but I certainly went with the right guy, because the amount of fun we had, we won some tournaments as well. The fun we had on the court was the most
That's-
important thing,
yeah.
right? And for doubles, junior doubles, I want to be fun, because the singles was a little bit more intense, right? So the double was fun, but that was an important part of it. The personality, how we clicked and stuff like that. That was the guy I wanted to play with.
You
Right.
felt free. You felt like
I did.
comfortable.
The funny thing is, those other 2 guys paired up, and we lost them in the finals.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it was okay, right?
Right.
We got them further on down the line in another tournament, but that was fine. But boy, was that the best choice,
Yeah.
right? Because I was relaxed, we had a good time, we kind of talked the same language.
That's the thing. You want to create an environment for your partner that allows him to just be free, play free without any pressure.
So once again, people are expecting this to happen without a conversation, without having that. What do we want out of this, and what can we do for each other, and how can we be there for each other, and in what way? It's a relationship.
Yeah.
And
It's funny because sometimes they'll have it with everybody else except with the with
they'll go
the person
complain
they
to
need
another
be having
person.
it with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, have it with your partner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and that's the person.
You're making too much sense, Gavin.
Yeah.
Those can be hard to have though.
Well, yeah, they can, but once again, it's kind of common sense, but it's hard to
Right.
do, so people
Right.
don't do it.
Well, they're uncomfortable, so
Yeah.
I guess some of the
Yeah.
times
You
have
know.
to.
And it's a long season, right?
Yes.
September to May,
Yeah.
right? So, and you guys can get better as you go, but just like all relationships, communication.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on here,
Correct.
right?
Let's shift gears to some juniors youth tennis, right? That's another big chapter, so let's brush over it. what can parents do to help the kids in tennis without adding pressure?
Oof.
You know,
Oh, that's a big
That's a
subject.
big- yeah.
Yeah.
because this tennis is it's very parents
Yeah.
are very connected to.
If a parent can just be supportive, that's probably it.
Right.
I mean that's it. You stay out of the coaching. You stay out of the post-match review.
Mm.
You know, what do you think happened there? No, leave that to the coaches.
Yeah.
Right. Just be supportive. You can't do that. Don't go. You know,
It seems to be a very hard thing.
it's a
for
very
people
hard
to
thing
do.
to do, right? Because you're paying all this money. You want to see your kid perform. But you also, as a parent, have some responsibility to model certain behaviors
Correct.
for your kid.
Right.
You know, because they learn from you for sure, good and bad.
Yeah.
But really, a supportive parent is the absolute best thing for a junior player. You know, it's the sort of, you know, doesn't matter how you play, I got your back.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm here for you. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. If you could do that, that's the sport parent we're talking about.
Yeah. So
Once you
important. It's so hard.
it's so hard
Especially
to
as
do.
juniors, because you're already without. I mean, we're just talking about shutting everything out. You're trying to play a match, and if you're on a high school team, you're worried about your performance where you are on your ladder. Your coaches, my parents are paying for lessons. You want to perform for them. You're playing with all this other stuff on you. The last thing you want to hear from when you get off the court from your parent is, you know, geez, let's talk your strategy breakdown in this or something, instead of just like, you know what I mean? You're like, well, dude, I'm
Yeah.
trying. That's anything even a little bit negative just puts so much more. I think so much more pressure than they probably realize. Just a little off,
Yeah.
you know, off
You know,
cuff
the-
remark is like heavier to.
They think they're
than
being
they
helpful.
realize.
And they're
Right, it's
trying
coming
to
from
be
the right
helpful.
place.
Generally,
Yeah.
it's coming
Yeah,
from the right
yeah.
spot.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's not helpful.
Yeah.
Certainly in the moment when a kid's an emotional,
Right,
you know,
man. You
up
really
or
got to learn
down.
how to close out a set.
Yeah, dude.
You were up
4-2
4-2
again.
in
Come
line.
on, you know? All right, here goes the
get you a
hypnotist,
hypnotist.
right? Exactly. You know.
Yeah.
So anything, yeah, you're trying to be helpful, but it's not
Yeah.
that helpful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It really is, and it's
Yeah.
detrimental. I mean, you know, I won't name names. But I remember doing the Friday clinics, and I had a young kid in there. They're out there for an hour and half an hour, and he's always crying. And, you know, he's going, can you go please tell my dad up there who's sitting there in the window that I'm trying as hard as I can?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Right.
That's so sad, man.
Right.
You know, this kid's 10 years old,
Yeah.
and it did not get any better from there.
Yeah.
It did not, right? That right there, what kind of pressure is that for a 10-year-old kid? And this is a clinic where they're just kind of starting out,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, be as supportive as you can,
Yeah.
and leave the tennis stuff
Yeah.
to the coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my girls didn't play tennis, but that's all the other sports they played. That's all I ever. I'm not really much of a basketball coach, anyways, or whatever else. But I was always positive. The only thing I might dog them on a little bit was if like an effort related thing. You know what I mean? If they're like, you know, come on, keep hustling out there, keep doing that.
If you want me
but
to keep
I'm
paying
not-
for this, put in the effort.
Yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
yeah. I
Okay,
don't know.
that's fair.
I think
Tennis
your-
is expensive, right?
Your words as a parent can be heavier than you think. Even just a quick little quip you make, it's like there's already enough battles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they
going
come
on in
from
there. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, be a fan. Be a fan
Yeah,
of the sport.
exactly.
Yeah.
Be a good fan. You know, not the fan. You know, I remember seeing high school parents ranting and raving. And you know, what do you think that's doing for your kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. That your parent is causing a disturbance.
Right.
Right. In the stands while you're playing a match.
Right.
How do you think that impacts your
Right.
your
Yeah.
child versus any other? Right.
And they'll
Just
wanna
be.
crawl under a rock.
Right. Don't start a fight with another parent. Just be a good fan.
Those
right?
things do happen.
I know they do, right?
You got to write it down for them too. That's
Yeah.
the sad part.
Yeah. Be
Yeah.
a good fan of the sport, of the fact that kids are out there playing, right? You know, all the research says when kids take up competitive sports, the number one reason why they do it, sports in general, but sports where they have competitions, is for fun. The number one reason why they stop playing is they stop having fun. So what's happened between when they started having fun and they didn't, that's caused that? A lot of times it's parents, right? Sometimes it's coaches. You know, there's some plenty of bad coaches out there too, right? You know, a lot of it, they just want to be with their friends and have a good time. You get more serious, well, then other things come in there.
But you got to keep the fun.
But you got to have the fun.
Yeah.
Or you start losing kids to sports. Right?
That's the thing. You reach a certain level, so then that balance of fun and pressure.
Yeah.
And
you know, balance that.
yes, especially in today's world, the kids they have different pressures. I mean, each generation had their own pressure, but right now, in social media, this and that, they deal with that type of stuff. So everything is out there. It's almost like an escape from them when they go and play a sport. They're out of that. They're present in that moment. And
Hopefully, it should be, unless of course they're dealing with, you know, crazy parents or fans or this or that.
Yeah.
You know, then it's hard to escape that.
Yeah, you see it, right? Even at the high levels, the ATP levels with the social media and the everything that's, especially with the gambling now, right?
Jeez.
Big gambling in that adds so much pressure on those people, man. But now you have not the fan, you have the gambler. There's like writing you messages because you lost in the first round.
You didn't make that putt and you cost me 50 grand. You owe me 50 grand.
Yeah. Yeah, what?
You know what? You know,
Or why'd you lose
lost
the first
that
round?
You lost that first round match. You know, you owe me money because I bet on you.
Remember some of them put some, Hashanov and I think Caroline Garcia, they put a couple of messages there. They posted them to see what they get after they lose because of the DraftKings or whatever all those things are. That's tough, man. That's a different.
That's brutal.
Don't bet on
That's
me.
brutal.
Don't bet on me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, oof. But that's a big one. I don't know. They keep promoting that gambling. But I don't know.
In the
It's
moment
tough.
type gambling now too. You know, on little
know.
things,
I
it's
keep hearing that.
crazy.
What do you mean?
Like you know, they'll show odds on something that's happening like in the moment. You know, it's like you know, 10 to 4 odds he's gonna miss that putt.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. You're like, you know, why is that even in
Right
there?
on the
Right on the screen there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly move from the juniors to what do you think? There's some tools for high level juniors moving up to college now. So now they choose to do this, right? So, what would you say, like, a good perspective, a good way to look at things? Because we have a lot of those kids that, you know, they play in our junior clinics, so forth, but all of a sudden now they get a scholarship. It's a different pressure because now all of a sudden they enter the real world. They get some money for the tennis. Sometimes it's not easy to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a young adult there that's trying to figure out life, but all of a sudden you have some big financial pressure on you, right?
Yeah. I mean, the more you can prep for that, the better, right? And that kind of pressure, it's a new pressure.
Yeah.
But they've also had other pressures in the past. You know, if they're getting some money, getting a ride to play at school, they've probably performed pretty well in other pressure situations, and you can build off that. You know, one of the things we talked about today was identifying past wins, and when I say wins, you know, matches, but wins where you handled a tough situation, or you overcame adversity, or you handled a high-pressure moment, right? Those are all sort of things to put into the bank that you can pull out and buy off, right? This is another kind of pressure, but it's still a kind of pressure, right? And it's just a different form of it. So one of the places to start with is your achievements in terms of overcoming and handling tough situations. And write them down, put them in the, you know, so you can pull them out. Because this is just another form of that. Okay. So that's a place to start.
Yeah.
You know, another one is once again, you remove yourself from situation. Everybody feels pressure, right?
Yeah.
It's how you handle it that makes the difference, right? So Yeah, you're playing for a scholarship now. Great. Focusing on that, what's that going to do for your tennis? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's probably going to make it worse. Once again, it's the process, the things you can control, right? Playing your best tennis, putting the work in, right? Putting your effort in. That's how you got there in the first place.
Correct.
Why is that going to be any different once you've got a scholarship? It's not, right? Your game, continuing to build your strengths, right? Once again, you start paying attention to that, this gets to the background. Right? It's a distraction is what it is.
Correct.
It does not help you do anything better. Yeah. So you got to block it out and start thinking about the things that are going to help you just play better, which hasn't changed since you were in the juniors.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
right.
Right. It doesn't change. It's just a different kind of pressure. Paying for, you get out into the tours, let's say you're playing for a paycheck. Well, you know what?
That's the next level pressure.
That's the next level pressure, but it's the same thing. Thinking about your paycheck is not going to help you play your best. You got to dial it back to the process again.
Yeah.
Right? What are the things that you're doing, need to focus on to play your best? And the question that I asked all the ladies today is the way that you're thinking and how you're behaving helping you perform at your absolute best? And if it's a no, then you got to get rid of that. You got to change that. If it's a yes, you keep doing it. Thinking about the scholarship, thinking about your paycheck. If that helps you play better, great. Okay, you keep doing it, right? If it motivates you, great. Then go ahead, go with that. If it doesn't, got to find something else to focus on. And it usually comes down to process. Yeah. And that's true in most sports.
It's funny drawing on like past wins because those aren't what sticks with you for some reason. Like it's the
losses.
It's all the things that like those what's are on the loop, like where it went wrong. Forget like there's actually it goes right plenty of times too, but those get washed out somehow.
I do this a lot, and this is true with athletes. This is true with like executives. Yeah. Right. There's basically two buckets: what you're doing well, what you can do better. All right. They come up a lot of times with what they could do better all the time. It's hard for them to identify what they're doing well. Yeah. Because they don't pay attention to it. Right.
Focus on the negative. What you
it's easy. It's easy, right? And you want to spend some time with the accomplishments, the buckets. That's how you build your confidence. That's how you maintain it, right? The things you've overcome, the challenges you've managed to achieve, that kind of stuff. But we don't do that enough.
Be kind to yourself, right? That's
be nice to yourself, right?
This Gab guy's pretty smart.
He is. It's good. That's it. Want it. What would be one skill that you would have any tennis player? Could be something we talk about. Be like, that's a. You gotta have it. This. You gotta do this. One skill that you have. Develop or have, and why?
I don't know if this is the right word. It's sort of a combination of resilience, perseverance. Big words.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose points, you're going to lose games, you're going to lose matches. Yeah. But how you respond to that kind of stuff is huge. You lose a point, how do you respond to that? Right. It's that sort of that effort, that being able to reset and give it your all on the next point. Give it your all in the next game, set, match, whatever. Right. I think is massive. And being able to do it quickly. Yeah. From point to point to point, not get down on yourself, but really stay positive, that resilience. You dump a ball in the net. How do you move on from that? Right? You get a big win. You got to move on for that too, but I think that's a big thing. And then the other one is keep learning, being able to learn. Because you make mistakes, you have losses, how do you learn from them? If Correct. You can, how's that going to help you get better? Right? It's huge. If you can keep learning, you're going to keep improving that way too. So I don't know if that's a specific mental skill.
That's a good one.
But it's a really characteristic that people can develop. You can always learn from things. And you can learn to be tougher or more resilient
Yeah.
with your tennis. Most of us in our lives lose more than we win.
Yes. Yes.
So you got more chances to be resilient.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. I still remember, like,
opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
And that's
opportunity.
how you look at that's one of the ways you look at it with that mindset. You know, opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, opportunities to improve.
I still use one of your things that probably I've done with you in the first practice that we did together. By the way, the same practice 2 weeks in a row. And I'm like, Gav, we did this last week, and he's like, nah, it's okay, they need it. So it was like the new practice. But it was something on overheads. You might not remember this because it's normal, but I still use that. It said something really, really cool, like somebody dumped an overhead in the net. You know, and the initial reaction, like, ah. Like, well, no, the natural way, the best way to look at it is like, I got myself a chance to hit that overhead, and you move on.
Mhm.
So that's basically how you look at things, right? That's
That's
I
the
remember that from you.
reframing.
Yeah,
Look at it
Yeah.
2 different ways,
yeah,
right? And one way keeps you moving forward
Yeah.
and resilient, so you go for the next overhead and you're not worried about it, whatever.
yeah.
The other way, you know, maybe sends you the other direction.
Correct. Dump it next time you think about it, and yeah, but no, I got my chance, give myself a chance to hit
Yeah.
that overhead. That's
I got
good.
to that
That's
point.
a win.
Yeah,
That's a win.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Gav, this was fun, man.
was
Appreciate
good.
it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
hey, your
you guys
first
staying on
podcast.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was fun.
3 years later. Let's not wait.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I hope
again
it was
in
worth
4
the wait.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I'll be back
great,
next
dude.
week.
Well, looking forward to tomorrow night, though.
Yeah,
but appreciate your
absolutely.
time. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys.
We
Thanks for having
appreciate
me
it.
on. Thanks
Yeah.
for bringing me up. I appreciate it.
Great.